All right, Devin. Make or break NBA part two. First make or break. What we talked? We talked like Clay. We talked. I'll just go back and find it. Who? I don't because I honestly do
Yeah,
not
I don't
remember.
remember.
I don't remember who we talked. Who we talked? Oh, we talked Clay. We talked Kawhi. We talked Bam. We talked
Mm,
LaMelo Ball.
mm.
Um,
We haven't talked basketball in a little bit.
I got some names today though.
I don't remember.
Make or break this year. Are these players going into a make or break season? I don't know how many times I have to give this, this warning, but when I say make or break, I don't mean like just like, are they going to be a superstar officially or not? Are they going to be a bust? Like, no, there's levels. There's levels to this.
Yeah, it's
You
not like,
gotta, you
hey,
gotta,
you're an MVP or you're out of the league. It's
yeah,
not that serious.
there's levels to this. For example, somebody I got in here is Trey Young.
Very young.
The reason I got Trey Young on the make or break question board,
Yeah.
it's because there was a point where he was supposed to be like the next Steph Curry.
Hmm.
He was, and I'll give it to him. He was at the same time, kind of everybody was like transitioning to this a lot. He was taking a lot more deep threes.
Yeah.
He
There's
was
a
cashing
video
out.
on YouTube that calculates how impactful if there was a 4 point line, how impactful that 4 point line would be. And the only person it would positively affect was Trey Young.
Okay, see there you
Trey
go.
Young, Dame, or Steph, but the only one it would really be worth it for was Trey Young.
See, there you go. That's what I'm saying. Like I'll give it to him when it comes to taking deeper threes.
Yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
passing, sure.
yeah.
But when you go down the list, there's nothing else. There's no other Curry trait he has. There's no.
No,
He's not playing off ball like Curry. To me,
agreed.
he's more of a defensive liability than Curry.
Hmm.
Curry can find more ways to score. It's just
Trey is nowhere near the finisher that's
what
Steph
Trey
is.
was projected to be. What 5 years ago?
Well, he was drafted the same year as Luca. They got traded for each other
So what year was it? Was it the year after the bubble? Before the bubble?
before. I think it was
So yeah, so
19.
2019.
I think it
I'm
was
gonna say
19. Yeah,
the regular seasons around that time it all gets jumbled up into like
2018.
one big. Okay, so
18.
there was a time where it was like, like you see him like bro might be like the next Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
I know you get a lot of people that might be giving that praise or whatever, but at the same time, you don't have a lot of people that like start playing like very well, and then they're like, "Oh shit!" Like he might be a Steph Curry. The same way as like you know nobody really out the gates. Nobody was like, "Well, Lamar's going to be better than Michael Vick, no question about it."
No one said that.
It was like he's gonna be a running back. And then when like you started watching Lamar, it was like, oh, like he might be
Well,
like Vic. Oh, he might be better than Vic. Like, see, it was when Curry when Trey was coming up, it was he's got a little Curry in him.
yeah.
What were you gonna say
Now,
though?
with Lamar, I mean, it was like I think Trey was expected to be good. I don't remember what happened pre, but um, it, the Curry thing got thrown around a lot,
It did, but did
especially
it
during
not
Curry's
stick?
peak,
Did it not
or
stick?
and right at,
Did
huh?
it not seem to stick to Trey a little more than
No,
others?
well, because he's hoiking up tons of threes,
I
but
mean, he's a smaller
yeah, as
guard.
but yeah, as you said, like as you started to watch Trey more, and as you would get into like I don't know important situations and at late in games, yeah, I mean he's kind of around, but I mean the teams he's been on haven't really played winning basketball ever, and we haven't really seen him in Curry esque moments. Um, but I mean, he has a shot like Curry, and that's the comparison for him. But him as a someone to build around, I think that time is going to start to dwindle.
And the fact that I mean, there were conversations like after this season ended, like should the Hawks should they build around Trey or Dejounte?
They talks mid-season. Yeah, of
Obviously, they went with Trey, traded
course.
DeJounte to New Orleans, which is going to be fun to watch. But
Yes,
and I think what we do struggle to do on these make or break sometimes is give like a definitive answer.
that is
So
true. I mean,
like
we hit both sides.
I do believe that this may be, like you said, this may be a year where it's like, our it's going to define, can we build a championship contending team around Trey Young?
Well, the thing is, they're gonna need to try to do so. You know what I'm saying? Like they got Dejounte, and they were like, "That's all you get."
Uh,
There hasn't been a push to
well, I
make
mean,
Atlanta
I
contend,
I,
and
I
he's
didn't.
never been given that content. Like Luca got Kyrie, that was his piece. That was his extra thing.
I mean, I
Now Luca
didn't
wasn't working with the best stuff before, and still had a pretty good team and better than the Hawks. But Trey Young's gonna need at least two more solid pieces to help him
like I
move, and
didn't
he
I
might not
didn't
even be the biggest guy then.
I didn't like them getting rid of like John Collins, and you bring in Dejounte
Great.
for a year and say fuck it, let's get rid of him instead of maybe adding a third piece to that puzzle
Exactly.
that might be the answer. But yeah, no, I think it's a make or break. It's a make or break year.
To me, it's more of a. Are we definitively wondering if it is a make or break year, or will he break or make? We're figuring out.
It to me it's not will he make or break, which we could answer that question if we are sorry break,
But yeah,
but
no, it's more of okay. I got you.
it's
We've done a ton of these, and I still have no idea.
the best way I could describe it is you describe the make or break scenario, and you decide, is this the season he's going to define that scenario? So the
Yeah.
scenario for Trey is he going to be able to play well enough to uh convince the Atlanta Hawks to continue pursuing to build a team around him that could contend for a championship eventually?
Now, I think he's convinced the Hawks, and I think he's good enough to do so. But I don't know how this is going to work out at
Like
any point.
last episode or last time we did the make or breaks, it was, can Clay, how well can play, like will this season, how well will he play outside of Golden State's system? Will he
Sure.
fit well in a different system?
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think this year will be simple, very easy year. I mean, how many more years do you really have left to prove this? It might be late, a little too late to prove this, honestly, for
This is
Clay's sake.
probably a year too late, but Clay couldn't have left last year.
But there's just different scenarios, and I think it makes it a make or break because this might be the year you have to prove. You might have to prove that narrative. We're creating narratives.
Trey has maximum 2 years to really
Okay. Okay.
start it up.
And that's the thing. The NBA, it kind of always seems like you definitely get more than a year. Like it's not
No,
like,
I mean, well, honestly, Trey Young's had
but that's the thing. Like
a
I
good
said,
few years.
5 years ago, half a
I
decade
mean,
ago, it was like, damn,
he's
we got a new Curry
he's a. Obviously, we're not going to get a new Curry. So,
or another
I mean,
version of whatever
I
you
mean,
want to
we'll
say.
have a great shooter in Trey Young, and I think that will still be a thing. Um, but yeah, it's going to be a matter of, is he worth it to spend all our money on and spend all our money on other guys to build around him?
Mm.
Is he? I mean, but again, we haven't seen him in Curry-esque scenarios.
See, yeah, but I get it, and I'm not saying like, oh, he was supposed to be an exact replica of Curry, but I'm saying he got put on that pedestal very high off of a couple things he could do on the court, and then I think it became very obvious that there was a lot of things he couldn't do.
Tons of flaws.
So you kind of got to bring him down that pedestal, and that's what I'm saying. Is this the year he comes down off that pedestal, or he proves himself?
Well, he's been sliding, so
Make or
we'll see.
break. John Morant.
No, this is not a make or break year. This is a
Um,
make or break off the court year.
I mean, I wrote down we know why, and you're right.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
but okay.
Honestly, even then, I think he's so much of a superstar that it's going to take a lot for him to even break up his things off the court. And again, we haven't heard anything about Ja since what, mid-season last year, or
Yeah,
early season last year.
this is in no way this was not a setup to slander Ja. This is
Am I slandering Joe?
no. I'm saying like
Oh,
because you were like right away like no, obviously not. Like no, like it's obviously not. But we have not seen the man in so long.
yep.
It's like I just want to throw it out there. It's like no, if bro's healthy, like he's back to the moon when
We
it
like
comes
it.
to
Yeah, it
superstar,
peak,
like where he was at
top of the
before.
top. Yep.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, I think
I mean,
everything.
and he's a name that when we talked about faces of the league, we talked about guys in the NBA coming up. I mean, shit, we talked about the motherfucking Olympic team, and I think honestly, if I think Ja could have been on that team had he had a solid few years without any interruptions.
I mean, yeah, the NBA will be in a good place when it's ran. You know, the big
But because Ja wasn't around this year and he got injured, we weren't really talking about him. And I think there's tons of jokes and whatever bullshit you can say about him. It was a lighter, whatever the fuck.
That's the thing.
Because he
It's been
flashed.
so long since we've had just Ja Morant on a basketball court, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Like people wonder why, like,
I mean, he got back from his bullshit 25 game suspension, and then got injured immediately.
and people get offended, like when we kind of push the narrative of like we just want to see you play, like just chill out. We just want to see you play.
Yeah, I
But
know.
it's like, bro, like, do you not see what we mean? Like,
Yeah,
when
like
you
I
get to
want to see
watch
it.
Ja just play,
We'll do whatever you can to stay on the court. That's it.
yes,
Like I don't. You can do extracurricular stuff.
you
No one
can
gives a shit.
say how you feel, but
Yeah, no one cares.
if it's gonna impact the reason you are known,
Or the reason that you're not on the court,
yeah, well, yeah,
then
which in this case is what you're known for, and it's being on a
sure.
basketball
Yeah, yeah,
court.
yeah, yeah.
It's like that's all. That it's
Like
not.
we want to see him peak Ja. And honestly, I don't really give a fuck how good the Grizzlies are.
Mm-mm. We
Ja's a
all know the
dog.
Grizz. I mean, we look. I don't think the Grizzlies are gonna. I don't think the Grizzlies are in a great position as of right now. In the
No.
future, sure, but you know that's what we need. We need this next year where Ja just goes crazy and people want to come play for Memphis and they want to team up with Ja and they want
I
a.
think this is going to be a big year for Ja.
There you
I
go.
want to see it.
Make or break, and he makes. I think. I think it's
I
easy.
want to see it so bad. I mean,
Um,
again, we haven't heard anything since the suspension, since the injury, all that stuff. I mean, we haven't had heard a peep. So
See, but and it's like I'm not
the
wishing
quieter the
no,
better.
I'm not wishing no like injury or anything, but it's like I know it sounds crazy to even have him on this list, but like just
Because it's pulled him away from the game before.
mm,
Like getting a 25 game suspension in the NBA is pretty fucking big.
like there
And I'm
might
assuming that there's a ladder to how big the suspensions get based off your actions.
and there might have been a time like shit, let's say 12 hours after Derrick Rose tore his knee,
Mm.
people were going, "Damn, this might be it." And they might have been looked at as the biggest idiot. They might
Sure.
have been looked at like, "What are you talking about?" Like, bro's coming right back. Like, people might have already been having conversations like, "Is he gonna be able to come back
Yeah.
and be who he is?" And it's like, I'm not saying, I'm not saying I think it's gonna happen, but it's like, if Ja say something similar happens where he's out for an extended period of time, he kind of just falls back in our memory, and then the next thing you
Yeah.
know, it's like we haven't seen a full season of Ja in 3 or 4 years, and it's like, what are you know? It's really just showing face and being on the court. And that's all you got to do to be to be in the make column for Ja Morant
For Ja, yeah.
specifically.
For this point in his young career, yes.
And then the last guy I got for the make or break on this is see, and this is why I like the make or break for the NBA because I think every player has a very specific scenario or narrative or reason why they could be considered a make or break player. Damian Lillard.
Mm.
Because it's expectations. Damian Lillard is Damian Lillard, and we know it. And
Agreed.
recently, like he came out and said like he feels like he hasn't gotten enough respect, and it's like I'm here to say like Dame is Dame. Dame is already a legend. He's obviously like who he is. But when you spend all this time talking about how much help he needs and how he needs this and he needs that, and here's the thing: people were saying him going to Miami who I think they have their own flaws that they got to deal with, which
Hmm.
definitely Dame would have helped with. They were saying
Hmm.
like, "Oh, locked. That's a lot. Like finals, easy." I think the same exact expectation should be should be for Dame and Giannis. That is a
Agreed.
that is
A
a
thousand percent.
that is a dream duo.
Now
It
they
should
caught
be.
a they caught a little bit of a pass because they were injured,
That's the thing.
but that's it.
It's a should be unstoppable dominant duo.
1,000%.
If we get them healthy,
Yeah.
the Bucks should be pushing for what? A finals appearance at the least?
No, that's 100%
I
the
mean,
Bucks push.
if if it's not a finals push when healthy, is it not a waste? Is it not a break? Is it not a Dame? Like, what are you like? What are we?
Well,
And maybe it doesn't fall on him, but I'm saying it better not fall on him.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, yeah, Dame talked about it for years that he wanted to be loyal, never got the help, whatever.
Mm.
You're on a team with former champions. It's a very similar team, outside of a few guys. But yeah, I mean, the expectations are the highest. You are
Yes,
expected to perform. Now, Doc Rivers might be a mid-season firing. I don't know why he has this job, but he
the
has it.
I did
Um,
forget that. Yeah, the coaching thing was definitely
Doc is
more.
there. Doc's a fucking curse, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
but
hey,
I mean, depending on, I mean, whether they're the best or not, Dame is going to be expected to win a finals, and Giannis is going to be expected to be better with Dame on the court.
yeah, and if you went 2 years ago, you just went back a couple years and said, "Yo, what would you think of Dame and Giannis teaming up in the East?"
Yeah,
People would say, "Oh, that's a lock. That they're
exactly,
going to the finals. What are we
exactly.
talking about? Why? What the fuck are we talking about?"
Yeah. What now
Uh,
that we're a year removed, it's different.
we're a year removed, and now it's like, well, like Boston's the favorites, and
Yeah.
like
Fuck Boston.
Paul George is in Philly, and you can never count out Miami. It's like, no, 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 no.
No, we're counting out fucking Miami until they pull their shit
Oh,
together.
we're counting out Miami. I love Jimmy Butler, but it's not.
Everybody loves Jimmy.
It's not happening, and it's sad to say, but I think Miami's about done with his shit too. I think it's
Done with Jimmy's shit.
yeah. Well, I mean, what with bro coming out being basically telling Jimmy to shut the fuck up and
Oh yeah, yeah,
all
no.
that shit. It's like I don't.
Pat's pissed.
Yeah, Pat
Pat's
Riley. Like
Pat's mad.
bro was telling me bro was basically telling him to shut up.
That is true. Well, that's
So
Pat's thing. But
but
I mean, maybe we'll see Jimmy on the podcast saying that his coach is mean. Boop, 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 boop.
we could see. But see, that's the thing. That's like Jimmy's the complete opposite of someone like Tua. He's gonna
Huh?
come out
You
and be
don't
like,
give a
"Man, our
fuck.
coach is a
He's
bitch."
like, I'm the shit. Y'all suck. He did that.
He
He
literally
told
did
the
it.
entire Timberwolves team that they're trash. They all suck. They don't deserve to breathe the same air as him. He's a god. Fuck everybody. And he was right.
Um,
That team was trash.
but yeah, no, I would say when it comes to expectations, Dame definitely. This is a year to prove it. This is a year to
Yeah.
prove all the years of just
I
give
mean,
him
there's
help, just give him help,
if something goes wrong this year, we're not coming into next year and going, yo, look out for Dame and Giannis. Just not happening.
and that is a demotion.
Yeah.
And maybe make or break is too harsh of a term because it's not going
Prove
to
it.
break who you
It's a
are,
prove it year.
but it will break the the idea that if you just gave Dame some help that he's
And
the
I
end.
mean, it's kind of like just, it could just be too late, you know?
It could be.
I mean,
It could be.
Dame ain't young.